Hey there! Let's continue our series on Stoicism. And what we are going to talk about today, this is one of my favorite, absolutely favorite bits of Epictetus. This is one that guided me through a pretty difficult time. So it's very important we talk about this, and in pure Epictetus fashion, this is another beautiful, short, nice bit of text. The book I'm reading you from is How to Be Free, a translation of Epictetus's Enchiridion by Professor A.A. Long. Let's get started on his 4th chapter. Whenever you are about to start on some activity, remind yourself what the activity is like. If you go out to bathe, picture what happens at a bathhouse. The people there who splash you or jostle you or talk rudely or steal your things. In this way, you will be more prepared to start on the activity. By telling yourself at the outset, I want to bathe, and I also want to keep my will in harmony with nature. Make this your practice in every activity. Then, if anything happens that gets in the way of your bathing, you will have the following response available. Well, this was not the only thing I wanted. I also wanted to keep my will in harmony with nature. I shall not do that if I get angry about what's happening. Mind-blowing. This one I read at exactly the right time. I had trouble, I was struggling with things, and it helped me. What is Epictetus saying here? Well, the concept is relatively simple. All he's saying is, for everything you do, realize that that is not the only thing you are trying to do. You are also, let me read how he said that. I also want to keep my will in harmony with nature. Yeah, that's a slightly difficult one. What does that mean, to keep your will in harmony with nature? Well, remember, if you've seen all the videos in this series, one thing we talked about in the first video, based on Epictetus' first chapter, was eudaimonia. A good life, a rich, fulfilling life, right? The life that you should pursue. So, when Epictetus talks about keeping your will in harmony with nature, what he is saying is doing that. Do not go against the way of the universe. Do not do anything that leads you astray from that part of eudaimonia, of leading that good, healthy, satisfying, healthy mentally life. What's the point in life? Now let's not have an extensive sort of ethical, religious discussion. All I'm interested in here is, what is the most important thing in life? And I can tell you right now, it's not riches, it's not having a good job, it's not having a wonderful life partner and beautiful, smart children, or having a great house or a nice car. All of these things are irrelevant, and most of those things are actually preferred indifference. So they're outside of your control. Here is what is most important in life. Keeping an even keel. If you are a ship sailing through the ocean of life and you become a toy of your emotions, you're not keeping an even keel. You're swaying left to right. You go from happiness to anger to sadness to anger to anxiety to anger to sadness to anger. That will not do. If you wish to lead a life of eudaimonia, you need to be in charge. And as a result, your keel will be even. You will not go from anger to sadness and back. No, you'll sail straight. And on those smooth seas, your life will be easier. Does this mean that you cannot have emotions? No, that is not what a Stoic says, nor is that humanly possible. Humans have emotions. You have your amygdala in your mediotemporal lobe, somewhere on the side of your brain, which signals fear, and that's a good thing. If you see something terrifying in the street, you probably want to get inside. Of course you need that. That's just cognitive neuroscience or psychology, whatever you like to call it. Of course you need to have emotions. As long as you're in charge. What if something angers me? If something angers you to the point where you're not in control of what you are saying or doing, as I think many of us will have experienced, I have for sure. I have told people things that I later wished I had not said, or maybe done things that I later wish I had not done. Now you are failing. If that describes you as that has described me in the past, no doubt about it, I'm telling you this in all sincerity, I've had issues controlling my anger. You have a problem. You are not leading a life of eudaimonia because you're not in control, and your keel is not even. And it doesn't have to be anger, it could also be sadness, it could also be happiness. If you are what psychologists would call manic, or these days we would probably say bipolar disorder, where you swing from extreme happiness and euphoria to extreme sadness, that's not a good thing either. So you can experience emotions as long as they are not pathologically exacerbated, they're not so big that they become a problem. But even with normal emotions, I think we all know that, right? They can kind of get away from you, especially the bad emotions. I hate to quote Yoda, but anger, fear, aggression maybe being a consequence of anger. Nobody wants to be angry. Unless maybe you're a cage fighter and you have to beat someone half to death. But provided that most of you are probably not cage fighters, who wants to be angry? You don't. You want to keep that even keel. Well, that's easier said than done, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It is easier said than done. But Epictetus gives us a great way to do it. He says, for everything you do, and I'll give you a very concrete example in a second of how I apply this. Epictetus is clear. He says, for everything you do, you remind yourself that you are not just trying to do that thing. You are also trying to act in accordance with nature. Keep your will in harmony with nature. In other words, leading a life of eudaimonia, a good, satisfying life. So if you do anything that leads you astray from that eudaimonic life, you failed. Because you may still be doing that thing that you were trying to do, like boil a pot of water. And then you accidentally spill the water all over the floor and you get angry and upset, and why does it always happen to you? And this stuff is also, now look at this mess. You got angry. You were not in control. I know this. I have been there. Trust me. For everything I now do, I tell myself this, and I'll give you that concrete example I was talking about. Reading YouTube comments. The vast majority of YouTube comments I get are super nice. But sometimes they're not. And that used to get to me when people made things really personal and commented negatively on what everything I was doing wrong in their eyes. I got upset. And it made me angry. And I don't want to be angry. How do I keep myself from not being angry? By doing what Epictetus says. Now, when the time of the day comes where I look at my YouTube comments, and I'm serious, every single time I tell myself what Epictetus wrote. Or what his student Arian wrote, but it was Epictetus who said it. I'm now going to do two things. I'm going to read my YouTube comments and I'm just going to translate this into English. Let's not talk about keeping your will in harmony with the universe or anything, or nature. I'm going to read my YouTube comments and I'm going to keep an even keel. And if I do something If I read something that upsets me, then I have done one, but not the other, and now I'm in trouble. I have read my YouTube comments, but I did not keep my even keel. And if my keel is not even, I'm not acting in accordance with nature or all that stuff. All that's fine, but the most important thing is I won't lead my evdaimonic life, right? I'm not doing that. I'm not living the good, virtuous life, the rich life, because I lost it. And I don't want that. So if I tell myself that I'm going to do this and I'll keep an even keel, I am warning myself. I tell myself, if I now lose it, I failed. I'm harsh to myself. You don't have to be that harsh to yourself. Maybe you should not think I have failed. But you could think, crap, I lost it. I did not keep that even keel. I did the one thing that I wanted to do, wash my car and there was a big lineup. Go to the grocery store and someone was rude to me. All these things can happen, you just need to picture it. I know it. I read my YouTube comments, there's going to be one that's going to be annoying to me. But in order to do both of the things I wanted to do, not just one, but both, I need to keep an even keel so it can't get to me. It's not within my control what other people write on my YouTube channel about me, about my videos. It's not in my control. But again, you know what is in my control? How I think about it. And I've just told myself I need to do this and that. And doing only one and not the other is not good to me. That won't suffice. I need to do both. Okay, good enough. And you make it easy on yourself. For example, I know that if I go to do groceries after work, it's going to be busy at the supermarket. There may be screaming children. There may be children or people in the way of the aisles. They leave their carts in the middle of the aisle. It's annoying to me. It's small everyday annoyances. Everyone has these. But if before I walk into that supermarket, pause for a second and say, okay, I'm now going to do two things. I'm going to do my groceries and I'm going to keep an even keel. And I know there's going to be things in that supermarket that are going to annoy the living crap out of me. But if I let that get to me, I've done the one thing, I've done my groceries, but I have not done the other. I have not kept an even keel. And that will not do. If you wish to lead a good life, a life of mental balance, that even keel must be your focus. Because once you become a toy of your emotions, or if you want to have Yoda again, once you go down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. It won't be pleasant and it won't be pretty. You know that. If you've ever struggled with depression or anxiety, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a very dark path, and not a path anyone wants to take. Well, am I saying that this is going to cure your depression? No. I wish. It's not that simple. But you can help yourself out, even if you're not depressed. And I would say especially if you are depressed. I will do this and that. And if I only do this and not that, it will not do. I have not done what I wanted to do. And you know what the fun thing is? We come back to indifference yet again. Because the most horrid people may have lined up at your supermarket and you may really be annoyed. They may be so annoying to you. But you can't control those people. That is a dispreferred indifferent. You are not in charge of them. They can have 50 screaming children and they may give them kazoos and Red Bull and have them run through that shop and annoy the crap out of you. You're not in charge. A dispreferred indifferent. But you know what you are in charge of? How you deal with it. And if you've made that commitment to yourself, I'm going to go in there, I don't care about the kazoos, because I will keep an even keel, and you go in there and you get annoyed about the kazoos, your ship is swaying. No even keel. You can slip up too. Errare humanum est. It's human to make errors. But you must work on this. I have done this. This is one of my favorite Epictetus bits. Changed my life. I'm honest. Changed my life. I don't get upset over YouTube comments anymore. I cherish them now. I will talk about offensive things later in this series of videos. But to me, no. It's a challenge now. Because now I think, there you are. The nasty comment of the day. But if you get to me, I don't keep an even keel. You are a dispreferred indifferent, and therefore not of consequence to me. Problem solved. So remember it. Do this, whatever it is you're doing, and keep an even keel. Doing one, but not the other, will not do. Don't let yourself down. You can make a mistake. But then next time, be extra careful. Making a mistake is natural, but learn from it. And know that next time, that's a situation where keeping an even keel is extra hard for you. So you need to work hard. And when you do that, you can't let up. Every time you have to do it. Like that. It'll be easy. And when that happens, your keel is even. Doesn't matter whether the world falls down around you. Because in here, you're fine. And that's where we want to be. That's what I want you to be. Okay? Guys, I hope this was useful. I exceeded my mandate in time a little bit. I'm sorry. But this is a very important topic and one that is very dear to me. So, forgive me if I went on a little too long. I hope this was useful. Let me know what you think in the comments. Because I can read them and not get upset. And I'll gladly see you, and I'll gladly see you later. Alright? Bye-bye.